Well, that is all she wrote. The 2023 college football season comes to a close last night with Michigan beating Washington in the national title game, and I've got some thoughts on the game. I actually thought it was a good game. I know the score doesn't reflect that at the end, but I'm going to talk about the game in a minute. But I want to start this video off by addressing sort of the two sides of this coin here when it comes to Michigan this season. First, I think we have to come to grips with two realities that are existing at the same time here. And it's not one or the other, I don't think. It's both. And, there's two sides to this debate with Michigan. There's they cheated, nothing they did matters, nothing they did counts. If it wasn't for the cheating, they'd be 0-100. There's that sort of side of the argument. And then there's the Michigan side of the argument that goes, we didn't really do anything wrong. Everybody does it. An excuse parade, basically. And we beat 3 or 4 teams at the end of the year without cheating, so therefore the cheating doesn't matter. Those are sort of the two debates going on when it comes to Michigan. So let me address the non-Michigan fans first. The rest of the college football world first. Michigan is the best college football team in the country this year. That was proven on the field. Not just last night, but over the last 4 or 5 games that Michigan played. They went on the road and beat Penn State. They beat Ohio State at home. They won the Big Ten title and finished the regular season 13-0. They then beat Alabama in the first round of the playoffs. The same Alabama team that had beat Georgia the game before. Then they turned around and beat Washington, the only remaining undefeated team. A Washington team that had beat Oregon not once but twice. And an Oregon team, or a Washington team that beat Texas in the first round. The same Texas team that beat Alabama on the road by 2 touchdowns. Michigan was the best team in college football this year. There's no arguing or debating that. Florida State was not better than Michigan. At no point this year was Florida State better than Michigan. They weren't better with Jordan Travis. They weren't better in week 1 or 2 or whatever it was when they beat LSU. They weren't better when they beat Boston College on the road by 2. They weren't better when they barely beat Clemson in overtime. They weren't better in the conference championship game where they couldn't get a first down against Louisville. And they weren't better in the Orange Bowl where they got beat by Georgia 6-3. At no point was Florida State better than Michigan. Scratch that off. Georgia was not better than Michigan. And if you think they were, that's okay. That point can never be proven, but that is the point. Georgia had a chance to get into the playoffs, and they lost to Alabama. The same Alabama team that lost to Texas by 2 touchdowns. The same Alabama team that lost to Michigan in overtime on a neutral field. There is no sane argument that you can make, whether you're a Georgia fan or not, that Georgia is better than Michigan. It's purely opinion and speculation. Georgia had a chance to prove if they were better than Michigan, and they didn't. They couldn't because they weren't good enough to get there. They lost to Bama in what was basically a 3rd playoff game. Okay? I hate it too. And I think Georgia versus Michigan would be a great game. But that's it. I think that. I don't know that. There's no way to know that. Michigan proved they were the best team this year. That's my message to the rest of the college football world. Now, here's my message to Michigan fans. You're going to be reminded that you got cheating this season from now to the end of time. That's not going away. Y'all need to stop crying about it. You need to stop calling everybody, oh, you're just a hater. The only person I know of that hates Michigan is Jim Harbaugh. He's been trying to leave there every single January for 4 years in a row. No one hates Michigan. I've been told I just hate Michigan a million times over the last month. Let me ask you something. Did I hate Michigan in the preseason when I had them picked to make the playoffs? Did I hate Michigan during the first 8 weeks of the season when I had them ranked number 1 in my own ranking? Ahead of Georgia, ahead of Bama, ahead of Washington, ahead of Oregon, Texas, Florida State. Did I hate them then? No. I only started hating Michigan when Michigan got caught cheating And I came on video and said, wow, Michigan got caught cheating. Then all of a sudden, I just hate Michigan. Nobody hates Michigan outside of Ohio State fans and Jim Harbaugh. That's it. You got caught cheating. That is a reality, okay? And it's a reality that as a fan, you're going to have to live with and accept for the rest of your life. You don't have to let the cheating take away from your enjoyment of this college football season. You don't have to let it do that. Some of you are choosing to, but that's on you. But these are the same Michigan fans. And look, I've been doing this on YouTube for a decade, okay? 10 years I've been doing this. I have heard from Michigan fans every single week of every single season for the last 10 years about Ohio State's tattoos. Back in whenever that was, the early 2010s, whenever that was, okay? People aren't just going to stop talking about you getting caught cheating. You were cheating. 100%. There's no debate. There's no argument. There's no opinion to the contrary. You were cheating and you got caught. End of story. Now, what comes of that down the road? Who knows? I don't know. The NCAA is, you know how they are. It'll take them a year or two to do anything. So what comes of it? I've got no idea. No clue at all. But whatever they do, next year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, whether it's probation, scholarship reductions, vacated wins, or nothing at all, whatever they do, again, it doesn't have to take away from your enjoyment of this season. And the fact, like I said 10 minutes ago, you were the best team in college football this year. There's no debating that point. You were the best team in college football. That is true. You cheated and you got caught. That is also true. The whole argument, well, we weren't cheating for the last 4 games, so that proves the cheating didn't matter. That's bullshit, is what that is. You can never prove how much the cheating helped you or didn't help you. Again, that's an unprovable point. That's like me or someone else saying, well, I think Georgia could have beat Michigan. Well, it's great that you think that, but it can't be proven. You can't prove that the cheating helped or didn't help. The only thing that's proven is that you cheated. That's it. And you're going to have to sort of just accept that from the rest of the college football world. That when people refer to this college football season and they talk about Michigan winning the Natty, that's not going to be the end of the sentence. They're going to say, yeah, Michigan won it all in 2023, but that was the year they got caught cheating with the sign stealing and the Connor Stallions in disguise on the sidelines and that. Remember that? That's just going to be part of the story. Just like when people talk about Ohio State from 10 years ago, they talk about the tattoos or whatever it is, right? People talk about Alabama's 2020 Natty, and they talk about, well, it was a COVID season. Look, this is what you're going to have to understand. Look, it's been a long time since Michigan won a national title, back in 1997. There was no social media back then, okay? So maybe some of this is going to be new to you, okay? It doesn't matter. Well, let me let you in on a little secret here. It doesn't matter who wins the national title. It doesn't matter who they beat to win it. It doesn't matter how they win it. None of that matters. Anybody that wins the national title now on social media, that national title is going to be belittled, devalued, and discredited. Period. By a certain segment of the college football population, okay? I'm a Georgia fan. Georgia won the national title 2 years in a row in 21 and 22. For 2 years, I've listened to people tell me that neither one of those titles matter. Why? Well, some team had an injured player. Some team missed a field goal. Some referee made a call somewhere that he shouldn't have made. 2020 Bama, COVID title. Doesn't matter. 2019 LSU, flash in the pan, got lucky. If it wouldn't have been for an Ohio State transfer and Joe Burrow, they'd have been a 500 team. LSU fans have to hear it. 2018 and 2016 Clemson. Well, their players were juicing up. The whole Osterine. They were on steroids. Right? 2017. Well, Bama shouldn't even have been in. They didn't even make the SEC title game. They got lucky in overtime. It doesn't matter. That's my point. All of those national titles happened. Okay? Ask yourself this. Who won the national title in 2016? Clemson. Who won it in 2019? LSU. Who won it in 2020? Bama. That's what people remember, okay? And when people remember 2023, they're going to remember Michigan won the Natty. But as far as the internet and social media goes, you're going to have to listen to people call it an asterisk title. You're going to have to listen to people remind you that you got caught cheating. Because you did. You got caught cheating. So, that's my thoughts on how this season will be looked upon a week from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, okay? Yeah, you won the national title. I think you were the best team in all of college football. I think you proved it on the field. The only team you didn't beat that I think some people, I do think there are people that would like to see Michigan play Georgia, whether they're Georgia fans or other people, but the reality is Georgia lost to Bama, Bama lost to Texas, you beat Bama. Like it's literally that simple. You were the best team. You were the best team at the end of the year. There's no doubt about it. You proved it on the field. You were the best team in college football. There should be no argument or debate. Okay? It's also true that you were cheating. It's also true you got caught cheating. Okay? This whole, well, the NCAA is just out to get you. No. Harbaugh was suspended twice this year. Neither suspension was handed down by the NCAA. Harbaugh was suspended once by his own school, Michigan, for the first 3 games of the season. And he was suspended once by his own conference, the Big Ten, the last 3 games of the season. So this whole NCAA just out to get you. The NCAA hasn't done anything to you. Nothing. Your own school suspended you, and your own conference suspended you. You were cheating. You're just going to have to live with that reality. Like I said, people are going to call it an asterisk natty. People are going to put asterisks next to it when they type about it on social media. People are going to make videos that you only won because you were cheating. You just have to decide not to let any of that matter to you. Did you enjoy watching this college football season or not as a Michigan fan? Did you enjoy watching J.J. McCarthy go out there and win it all for you? Did you enjoy it? Of course you did. Of course you did. Ask Southern Cal fans today if they enjoy the mid-2000s less now because Reggie Bush had to vacate a Heisman and they were caught giving houses away. Like, ask a Southern Cal. That doesn't take away from their enjoyment of those seasons. We all watched Southern Cal dominate college football for a couple of years. The fact that we found out later they were cheating doesn't take away the enjoyment the Southern Cal fans had of that. It doesn't. Okay? At least you cheated and won. It could be worse. You could beat Tennessee or Ole Miss. Tennessee and Ole Miss get caught cheating and struggle to make bowl games. At least you won a natty. Now, the game itself, I thought the game was a good game. It got away in the end. I'll tell you what, it was those 2 runs by Donovan Edwards, and both in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, Donovan Edwards, the backup running back, by the way, from Michigan, had 2 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was averaging 45 yards a carry. He had 2 carries. He had a 42-yard touchdown and a 45-yard touchdown. I mean, it was unreal. He had some 87 yards or whatever it was in the first quarter with 2 touchdowns. That's what made the game. That was the first 2 touchdowns and a field goal of 17-3, basically. Washington scores at the end of the first half. And then in the third quarter, we actually had a game. Now, it was a little bit boring in the third quarter in that it was a defensive struggle. I enjoy defensive games, though. So I thought the third quarter, I enjoyed the third quarter. It was sort of a punt fest back and forth. Each team turned the ball over on downs a time or two around midfield, giving the other team good field position, putting the other team's defense sort of backs against the wall, and the defenses rose to the occasion, not allowing field goals or points, just kind of forcing a couple of midfield punts back and forth there. And then at the end of the game, kind of the dam sort of broke there. Michigan scores to go up by 2 touchdowns, and then scored additionally later in the game to seal it at the third touchdown. The big pass that Washington hit down the field in the fourth quarter seems like it was about halfway through the fourth quarter, maybe. And was it still a 1-score game then? I believe it was still a 1-score game then. It may have been a 2-score game. Anyway, Penix finally hits a deep ball down the sideline. It gets called back for holding. I felt like that was like just the final air out of the balloon right there. Penix had struggled all day. Penix played terrible. Let's just put that out there. A lot of people, myself included, heaped a ton of praise on Michael Penix following that first-round playoff game win last week against Texas. I don't know that I've seen a quarterback play better over an entire game than what I saw Penix do against Texas. He was throwing 40 and 50-yard darts and dropping them in a bucket from half a field away. It was unbelievable to watch. You talk about NBA players being in the zone. Penix was in the zone in that game. I mean, he could have thrown the ball blindfolded, it looked like, and was putting it right on the money. Exact opposite yesterday. Now, credit Michigan's defense for that. Michigan had one of, if not the best defenses in all of college football this season, and that showed last night. They had Penix rattled. He had no time to throw the ball. I think that's why I saw a lot of people complaining about the dinks and dunks, sort of, from Washington and Michael Penix. A lot of passes at or behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of passes 3, 4, 5 yards downfield, whereas you go back to the week before against Texas, it was just more deep shots, more, sort of mid-range crossing routes, that kind of thing. You didn't see a lot of that yesterday. He didn't have time. Washington's got a good offensive line. They won the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line. And Michigan's defensive line got after him yesterday and really made Penix uncomfortable. And he didn't step up to make the plays. You could tell he was nervous. I don't want to use the word scared. That seems kind of disrespectful. But you could tell he was nervous. He was antsy. At least half of his throws were backpedaling or off of his back foot. You know, he wasn't planning and driving the ball like we've seen him do over and over again this past season. I really thought he did not play well at all. And Washington's got an okay ground game, but let's be real. Washington's offense runs through the arm of Michael Penix. And when Michigan was able to take that away, Washington had a really, really hard time moving the ball and sustaining drives. And we saw that in the game yesterday. J.J. McCarthy, again, I don't think he played great, but he made some key throws. And he made some key throws when it mattered. And he got Michigan in and out of the right plays and all that kind of stuff. J.J. McCarthy just kind of is what he is. I don't want to down him. He won the national title. He's not an elite game-changing, playmaking quarterback by any means, but he was perfect for what Michigan wanted to do. They have a dominant ground game behind a really big line of scrimmage, time of possession type of offense, and one of the best defenses in college football. And when you have that, you don't need a Michael Penix. You don't need a sort of Heisman-level quarterback when you have that. What you need is a quarterback that can take care of the ball, get you in and out of the right plays, keep his composure, and make a big throw for you every now and then when you need it. And that's what Michigan got. That's what Michigan got out of J.J. McCarthy. But so I thought it was a good game. Like I said, it did get away from Washington at the end. Michigan ends up winning by 3 touchdowns. But, you know, with 7.5 minutes to go in that game, it was a one-score game. So I enjoyed the game. Congratulations to Michigan. Again, you're clearly the best team in the country. That's truth number 1. Truth number 2, you cheated and you got caught. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and both of those things are true at the same time. The Your Season is Over video will be out later today. It takes me hours to make those videos, 4 or 5 hours at least. And then it's got to upload and process and all that kind of stuff. But the Your Season is Over video, the final Your Season is Over video of 2023 will be out late this afternoon, where I will recap all of the bowl games, playoff games, and of course the national title. The national title game. All right, appreciate you watching. Have a good morning.